What's going on, guys? It's your boy Player X here with the Semi-Limited Podcast. Just want to appreciate and thank every single one of you guys for coming out here every single week, tuning into all these episodes and listening to the ramblings of a 30-something-year-old man on a regular basis about a card game that he probably shouldn't be playing anyway. We're the top podcast for 40 plus viewers last year in 2023. We can't thank all of you guys enough, whether you listened to one episode, all the episodes, you had a marathon watching all of them just to catch back up, whatever it was. We appreciate all that support. And it means that we have a great launch year last year, and as well as kicking off 2024 very, very strong. In today's episode, we will be including topics on the potential cards to be reprinted in the newly announced 2024 Megatins this year, especially with the set list included from the sets they'll be dipping into. And then we are going to be discussing what might be included in our latest announced side set, Duelist Pack, Duelists of Brilliance, which is going to be in the OCG sometime this May, which means we'll get it later on this year. And then the last topic we'll be talking about is a bunch of lingering banlist fears that some people might have. Some cards you might want to get before the list. Some cards you might want to wait until the list comes out before you either pick up or move. And we're just going to talk about that a little bit for you guys. But before all of that, let's get into these sponsored plugins so we can get that all out the way. So you can please go down to that Linktree link down in the description box below. Click on all that to join our social media sites. You can follow us, subscribe to us, hit the notification bell, whatever it is. Catch us on all our social sites as well as our distributors. And then while you're down there, you can click and check to find out that we have our Discord down there as well. We've successfully launched 7 giveaways last year, and we're trying to double that this year. And we started off with our first one being the Discord giveaway when we hit 100 members on there. So congratulations to Ratty again for winning out his free box. We will now be doing a second giveaway when we hit 200 followers on YouTube, and we are at 191 right now currently at time of recording. So if we get to the next 10 within, I would say, a week or so, we could probably have the second giveaway going right down at the end of March. Maybe get a nice little gift out to one of you listeners. But don't worry about that. If not, we also have giveaways coming when we hit 50 followers on TikTok, 100 followers on X, and also 200 followers on Instagram. And speaking of all these giveaways and stuff, we want to make sure we shout out the sponsors over there over at Unplugged Gaming in Manly's, New York for sponsoring the podcast. Be sure to join their Discord server as well in the description box below to be a part of their TCG communities as well. They have communities like Lorcana, all that, so that new Disney stuff. They have the Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast. They have obviously Konami with the Yu-Gi-Oh, and they have the Bandai with the Digimon and the One Piece. So be sure to go down there, find a card game that you really are interested in, connect with some people who play the same game you do, and if you guys wind up finding yourselves in store, maybe trading, picking up some card games, or even playtesting or whatever, be sure to tell them that the boys over at the Semi-Limited Podcast sent you, and they'll be sure to hook you guys up. And last but not least, be sure to catch Brad, aka Mr. Purrfect, live streaming every Saturday night on Twitch at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitch will also be in our Linktree link down below. You can click on that. I think it's right above ours. You can go click on that and catch him every Saturday, whether he's deck building, maybe theorizing, crafting, master duel, laddering, whatever it is he wants to be doing that week, he will be doing it. You guys can catch him doing it as well. Also, be sure to interact with his chat as well, because we do discuss regularly what happens on his chats and his streams and everything. And we'll be sure to do more giveaways on there as well to make sure that you guys are feeling equally included on his platforms over there as well. But before we start today's episode, I'd just like to introduce our guest for tonight. He actually doesn't really need a real big introduction because we actually just got done talking about him. He's actually regularly seen and heard duelists on our channel and is responsible for most of the short form content that we have going on our social sites. So give it up for our pack master, quote unquote, Mr. Purrfect.
Meow.
Meow.
What's going on?
What's going on, brother? You been feeling good?
Oh, we're doing good tonight, man. I'm actually excited about this podcast, getting to talk about some of the upcoming cards we have coming out and potential ban list right around the corner. So I know some spicy stuff I see coming up here possibly. So you never know with Konami, but we're gonna kind of dig into that tonight. So.
Absolutely. And digging in, we shall. So getting into today's episode, since it's still in the middle of the ban list season, I figured we can go back and forth over some of the cards that could potentially get unbanned straight up and would have absolutely no effect on the meta at all. I'm a very big advocate for those who don't know and the first time listeners, that most of the cards in this ban list could fucking come back to 3 for all I cared, and probably wouldn't change a single thing in the meta because everyone knows what the strong decks do. Everyone knows what good cards are, and I don't think some of these power crep cards would actually even make it in today's format. So me and Mr. Perfect over here are gonna actually go down the ban list and just find out if there's any cards that we agree could both come off, and maybe discuss why we think cards could not come off. So going down, I don't know if you have yours pulled up, Brad, but I have mine. We're just gonna go straight down. It looks like the first card we have is Agido the Ancient Sentinel, and that shit's gonna be staying banned. We don't need that anymore.
No.
I don't want 10 cards getting built from my deck. That one can stay banned because it's just fucking annoying. That one I don't think is gonna come back.
I don't need to see tier limit again on my locals. That can
Yeah,
stay
big
away.
facts, big facts. Tier's dead, so let's leave Tier where it is in the fucking gutter.
Yeah, sorry, Brendan.
Same with
Still love
Protos.
you,
They got
but
Protos over here too.
yeah, no, they can stay hand in hand right in that ban list. We don't need to see that.
I think any card that says your opponent cannot do something is probably merited to stay on the ban list. But as far as things like being tutored out of like the deck or like sent from like hand to graveyard, deck to graveyard, stuff like that, adding from deck to hand, I think stuff like that should be okay.
I mean, there's definitely arguments for it, and as far as like the whole like cannot do anything, I mean, free Colossus, but we'll get to that for sure.
But like, yeah, if you want to scroll down and just start saying some names that you agree could come back, that'd be awesome. I think Artifact Scythe and Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds has to stay banned. Flu just abused the fuck out of Barrier Statue, and it was a very ignorant to deal with, especially having to deal with an M-Pen and a map and a fucking unexplored winds. It's just a lot. And then Artifact Scythe just seems like too much of a floodgate issue where it's just going to get turboed out, and then we're going into TG fucking Scythe lines and then going into a Barone backing it up, which I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, that is pretty crazy and consistent. I mean, like I said, I've been saying this for years now, and like I just mentioned, Colossus, like there's enough cards in the game right now that can turn off a monster. If not, you can send as far as like because I know Colossus has the destruction prevention if you banish a thunder, and I feel like there's just so many cards like Droplet, Imperm, Monster Negates, just like ways just to get around it. I feel like Colossus could definitely come back, and plus, I mean, my ulti's been sitting in my binder for some time, so I want to dust that puppy off.
Yeah, just lost a plus.
I just want to play with my Colossus, bro. I miss
Honestly,
it.
I thought Colossus should have went to 1 on the original list that got banned on. It got banned very, very preemptively. Not to say that it wasn't a problematic card, but the most problematic thing about it was you expend so many resources to get it off the field just for your opponent to slap another one on the next turn. And it kind of just felt like you're in this never-ending battle of getting this fucking Colossus off the field so you could search your deck to, get to the outs that you needed to keep playing the game at that current game state. So now that is, I would say, not a big fear anymore, put Colossus to 1. I mean, let's see what it does.
I do miss playing 3 Colossus, having a board of 3 Colossus just staring at your opponent and
See,
just
look,
be like,
that's the
yeah.
ignorant shit that got it banned, dog.
I don't disagree. I mean, as far as like looking at like the normal effect monsters on the ban list, I remember I think it was Felton that was saying the other day, as far as like Mathmech Circular coming back, I could definitely see that at least coming back to 1. I really don't feel like it would really see much representation as far as what other decks we have currently in the format. But as far
I
as
wasn't even seeing representation at 1.
like not really at all. I'm like it's like one of those niche cards, like where like if it goes off, like you're sitting pretty, and like it's definitely not fun to stare at on the other side of the board. But as far as like the other effect monsters, I feel like I probably wouldn't really change anything on the list as far as the normal effect monsters. Colossus, I feel could come back. Looking at some of the links, I was kind of looking at Sprite Elf, but as long as Princess is in the game, Elf can't exist because that's just dumb, just dumb. Crazy.
Oh, it is a fire, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a.
Oh shit! Oh shit! It's cooking over here.
It is a fire, which I mean is definitely not bad if you're able to bring it back with with Princess, because Flamberge is probably going to be getting the cut, but. No, while both of them are in the game, no, Elf definitely can't come back. Let's see here. I feel like you could probably bring back Scarecrow to 1. Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow.
Yeah, Scarecrow. I think it should have been at 1.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get the deck is very consistent, but I feel like just with one, they would be okay, and it wouldn't be like overpowered or anything like that. A
I think
Rise Heart
honestly,
can
Hal
come
could
to
come
one.
back. I think a Rise Heart could come to one. I think a Rise Heart could come to one. Everyone else disagrees with me, but whatever. Fuck you and your opinions. How's
Because
the
like I said,
Fireback to come to one?
I don't know about Halki. I don't know about
No, Hal
Halki.
could come back, dog. I mean, I don't think if
That that
if,
that,
if
that
Snake
that's
Eyes.
that's one a one card Promethean princess right there. If you got Hulk back, I don't want to deal with
Yeah,
it.
but like that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna use your shit to hit the Hulk of Firebacks now. I mean, what decks are really bringing out Hulk besides pure Snake Eyes anyway?
Options.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We could probably bring it back.
It,
Link Cross definitely stayed banned. All the Nightmares banned. Assault banned. Metal Foes. I'd say let's try it with Electromite at one. I don't want to give them too much because I just hate playing against pendulums, just because it's annoying as fuck to have to read essays of a card. But I mean, shit, they need something. I guess they went from absolutely all the play to absolutely no play. So we've got to be some kind of middle ground we can reach. Meow Mew maybe could come back.
if it was limited to
Uh,
one,
yeah, limited to one. Just deal with it. You know, they obviously are gonna keep shuffling it back anyway. So all they really need is one. Uh, yeah, and I think probably everything else would probably have to stay banned. Yeah, Veritas, Bird of Sovereign, Summon Sorceress, Gumblar Dragon, Union Carrier, all too crazy.
yeah, they can stay gone.
Piccolos can stay banned. Norden, I'd say come back. If you want an instant fusion for a Norden, go for it in fucking 2024. I'm not stopping that shit. Yeah, Rice Heart, Lavarval Chain. I say give them niggas back Chain. What are you gonna do? Foolish Burial, one fucking monster? Who cares? You want to waste your Goblin Biker material to go into a Lavarval Chain? Be my guest. Some people were smoking crack thinking that number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk could come back. I think that they're fucking legitimately on drugs. There's no
Yeah,
way that
no,
card could come back.
no, that card's too good. Same thing like with
Yeah,
Shockmaster. It's like cards you think like might be like a little difficult to get to as far as making, but like it's really not that hard to get into a big ranks like that and just basically turn
yeah.
off your opponent's turn and get your extra bodies just to be able to get that extra advantage that you need. Like same thing like with Rongo. I remember when I very first came back to the game, like during GoCube format, and I was seeing this card around here because this was like the big problem card during the time. And I would like I would read the card, and it's like this has to have like 5+ materials, and your opponent can't do anything. And I'm thinking to myself, how's my opponent going to get to 5 materials with this
Yeah, literally.
card?
How's it gonna happen?
How's that going to happen? And then I think it was Dalton one day, way back, playing it, and had the Gossip Shadow, and ended up making like a giant Rongo, and I'm just like, oh, so that's how you do it. And
Oh, so it is possible.
and I just got cooked. So I mean that can stay gone. I got PTSD over Rongo.
I know Ian is gonna want that Dark Matter Dragon back, but he can, fuck off with that shit too. I'm not giving you a free mill 3 dragons and I banish 3 monsters and
Is
you
that
get to attack 3 times.
is
Fuck
that
that.
what it was again? I gotta reread that card because it's been a while
Yeah,
since.
it was something like detach a card and you can send from deck to graveyard for cost 3 dragons with different names, and then for resolution, your opponent would have to banish 3 monsters from their deck, which isn't necessarily bad, but like the plussing is the fact that you're sending dragons for cost, and then you can
Oh yeah,
if,
detach
if
one
fuck
to
yeah, you
attack twice.
detach to attack twice. So it's
Damn,
like,
that's 4,000
what?
attack too. Okay, yeah, that might be a problem, Ian.
Yeah, exactly. This is big
Yeah,
beefy as fuck.
yeah, I don't think you're gonna get
Zexal,
that.
I want back, but that's just for degenerate reasons, so probably should stay banned if I'm being honest with myself. Azathoth could stay banned. King of Calamities is all banned. Wind Up Carriers and Mighty, I wasn't around for it, so I don't really know what it does. I think it's like something about a hand loop, right?
I can find out right now here for you. Let's see
I'm pretty
here.
sure that was the hand loop one, and they got rid of the one that actually
Uh,
looped the hand instead of the one
Two
that
level
like.
threes. Once per turn, detach an XYZ special summon a wind up monster from your hand or deck. When a face up wind up monster on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can detach one material from this card, return that target to the hand.
Oh, okay, so maybe that's what it was. So yeah, this was the enable for the hand loop, and they got rid of that so that way they couldn't keep recycling it.
Which is
So I mean,
understandable.
whatever. I say bring it back. Fuck it. Well, the same thing. Like all these level like 3 rank 3 decks. Like fuck it. Like have it. We just got Goblin Bikers. If you can make that shit work, then go for it. Like I'd rather deal with it now and test the waters with it off the list than keep these fucking stupid cards on the list forever and prevent people from playing with them when they obviously aren't gonna really do anything.
I mean, I
Same
would
with
not
Roggle
mind.
and Dryden.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, Dryden would be. Well, then again, Bravo, like, I don't know, it's just like an extra, really, like, it's an extra body. But I mean, Dryden in itself can be really strong, especially if like you're able to get a quick pop off and then just make, I don't know, like a 10 materials use. Like, it's no big
No,
deal.
but you're going second for that, so you're putting it at the risk of I can play through my opponent's board, and now we have cards like Princess in. As soon as you stick that Borbo, I'm gonna Princess your Borbo. You know what I'm saying? Like you're never gonna get to that Dryden unless you stick it first. In which case, why would you want to?
I mean, that would be a little unfortunate if I was
I'm
facing
just saying in
Trinket.
general, like let's just try it out. Let's bring it back. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Zodiac comes back for another fucking format.
I
Oh
think
well,
it's banned again.
they brought back Fairy Tale Snow like 3 fucking times, and she was a menace every single time she came back. It was like every deck was like literally cramming her in for no reason other than free extension and Book of Moons. Like
How many
insane.
times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Old dad, big facts.
Yeah, Snow. Snow was a problem card.
Even
I
same
don't,
things
I don't know why they brought it back.
like Brilliant Fusion. Like, yeah, I understand why it got banned, but nigga, like, who you want a fusion from deck? We already got branded in the format. Shaddoll Fusion's at 3. Like, why are we so afraid about a Brilliant Fusion to bring out one monster to get you an extra normal? Who cares? Like, if that's what you want to do is normal twice, you got it, guy. You want to waste fucking 5,
Sometimes that extra
interactions
normal
to that?
though, that extra normal could be a fossil diner.
Hey, shit. I mean, but if you open the Fossil Diner or got to it in your combo, bro, you just got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were dead way before that Brilliant Fusion ever touched down.
At the heart of the cards.
Dagger Elma, I understand why, because of that
You're
that loop,
free.
and you just can't have loops, so that makes sense. Card of Safe Return, yeah, that's just cracked. I think Eric was saying something about Chicken Game coming back. I don't know quite about that, just because I know it's just a
Depending,
draw. It's a draw one.
I'll double check so I can like read it word for word, but it's something about like during each turn your opponent basically
Yeah,
gets to activate an effect with it.
I think either player can pay 1,000 life points and draw a card, but you can only do it if you have the most life points or
Yeah, so
higher life points or
yeah,
something like that.
the player with the lowest life points takes no damage. Once per turn during the main phase, the turn player can pay 1,000 life points to either draw one card, destroy the field spell like destroy Chicken Game, or your opponent gains 1,000 life points. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to the activation.
Oh, see,
I
look, there you go. So,
I don't think that's like too overpowered in today's meta. You know, like I feel like that can come back.
it seems like a was it Mystic Mind Light, like Diet
Kinda.
Mystic Mind.
Speaking of Mystic Mind, bring that back.
Yeah, you're bugging.
Bring-
I watched a documentary not too long ago about Mystic Mind and how it was a menace for well over fucking 5 years, and it was like, damn, I didn't even know it was around for that long.
It did last
I'm
longer
not
than I
really.
thought it
It was
should
like
have.
it was like 3 years, but still.
Yeah, it was around for a while.
And then complimenting Chicken Game and Kaiser Coliseum probably should stay banned. I don't think. I don't
Kaiser's
want to take off too
strong.
many floodgates. I just don't think. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to take off too many floodgates. Confiscation and Delinquent Duo are too much card advantage, so they can't.
Giant
Graceful
Trunade, I think you
Charity.
could bring back.
You said what?
Giant Trunade. You can bring that
That
back.
one could be.
I could feel that coming back. Last Will, I feel like that's like not even like that crazy in today's meta. Well, I don't know.
I
Not
don't
with
know. A
all the
1,500 attack monster leaving the field. I think that's kind of easy. Fucking Stick Eyes does that by itself.
is it just leave the field?
I think it's sent to the graveyard.
If so, then I retract my statement. Let me double check.
They
Oh
have.
yeah, sent from the field to the graveyard during the turn you play this card. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
never
just
mind.
during the turn. You can do it whenever too.
Yeah, I retract that statement. That can stay gone.
Yeah, I think Premature Burial can come back. Like, you want to pay 800 life points to extend from your graveyard, do it. We already have Monster Reborn. I feel as though the
Exactly.
archetype doesn't even have a Monster Reborn. It's not even a good archetype anyway. So.
And they got rid of like Ice Ult, so I mean, there is the Ashoka Pillar or whatever it is that can search an equip spell from your deck. So I mean, like I can see that, but then again, like you got Snatch Shield too. Like there's so many other good like equip spells that you can get if you really wanted to like dig out an equip spell. So I don't
Even
think that's
Smoke Grenade can
premature.
come back, I think. That's not now with the soul gone, it's not doing shit.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I can kind of feel that. Yo, grass looks greener. Let's just unleash hell on the meta. Let's just see random 60 card junior piles and play the grass looks greener just so we can mill 20 from our deck.
This man's trying to go fucking full on degenerate.
I don't think, because I came back in 2018, I'm pretty positive that I was never around when this card came out and was actually seeing play. So I'm pretty positive I've like never even seen it played. So I don't mind going through that torture and seeing what it's
No,
like.
I feel that. I agree. I haven't played it either. I haven't been around for the card. I understood that everyone played 60 card decks just because even if you weren't benefiting off of that grass looks greener, you wanted to benefit off your opponent activating it, just as much. Like you might hit better than they were. But I feel as though if we have grass looks greener legal, we have to start messing with tier card names now because they're just going to abuse it. Now, instead of going for, it's harder for them to mill the 10 cards because they don't have a Guido and Kelleback. Now they're going to mill 20 cards because they just happen to have more cards in their deck than their opponent.
Chain Link 15.
Yeah, that's big facts, dog. Off one player.
I'd be forgetting everything.
So I don't know. That one might be able to stay on there for a little bit longer. We'll see where it goes. Because like the OCG, especially for people who don't know, is very, very like stun, slow tempo based. There's not as much combo. There's not as much like fast pace over there in the OCG. They kind of really do play the game a little bit more differently than we do over here in the TCG. So it's just not the same. You can't make the same applications that you would with the TCG Banlist over there.
I feel like Force will staying banned. Zodiac Barrage you could probably bring back.
Yeah, I honestly it could come back to one.
It ain't gonna do
really
nothing
about it. Like it shouldn't be banned now anyway. Even if Dryden's banned, then Barrage definitely shouldn't be. Like
when I was messing
no reason
with
for both of them to be on.
Well, when I was messing with Barrage before, I was doing that Zeus Turbo shit when I would make like a 6 material Zeus. Like this was like what, like right before or after COVID or something. So I mean, like it's not bad, but as far as like everything that's been released since then, Barrage, there ain't nothing wrong with it.
And then we also have, and for traps, Appointed of the Red Lotus. I didn't think Appointed should have gotten banned. I understand why it got banned, but I don't think it should be. It's still a hefty cost. You have to have a hand yourself, which means you can't just set everything in pass. You have to pay 2,000 life points, so it's not going in post side deck in time. Yeah, you get to see the card and rip one out for the turn, but it comes back at the end of the turn. It's not like you're ripping it out for 2 turns like how most people think it is. But nope. So I mean, like it's balanced enough it could.
Ultimate Offering you can't.
Expulsion can't come back. Fuck y'all branded players. Imperial Order can't come back. Too sacky. Last turn is a ruling nightmare. Red Reboot I think could come back to 3 and be fine.
No.
I don't think. Nah, I don't see a problem.
I couldn't. I mean, granted, like I feel like a lot of cards are like, as far as like now is like more so like hand traps and whatnot. Like I feel like imperms are like mainly the trap cards you're going to see in any deck, and maybe like 1 or 2 random tech cards that'll go with the archetype depending on what you're playing. So it's not like the end of the world if you were just to like red reboot and your opponent said something, but God forbid it was a trap, like a summon limit or like a floodgate that you're trying to use just to keep yourself alive for the turn, then yeah, you just get cooked up. So
too, but like you got to understand, like Red Reboot is like a card that counters the traps that we can't counter going for, like second. Let's say we lose a Dyro and I'm going against a Flu player and the motherfucker just happens to have Featherstorm, like the fuck, and he flips that shit. There is no counter to that card. I am just not playing monster effects that turn. You know what I'm saying? I just lost the game. At least with Red Reboot, they're now gonna have to like think of, ooh, do I flip this shit off the rip? Do I gotta bait out anything else? Should I make sure he's got no hand before I flip this? Yada yada. Like there's other like it plays like a mental game, other aspects that take a application.
So you're telling me you would rather reset the Featherstorm to deal with the following turn?
Yes. If I kill you right then and there, yeah, 100%. Set 3, nigga. I don't care.
Not if you normal summon.
I guess that's. I mean, obviously it depends, but that's what I'm saying. It depends on the deck. Like it's not like it's a broken card either way. Labyrinth is probably going to be the most hurt deck by Red Reboot at 3. They're probably going to have to just start meaning judgments. But I mean, that's like the worst of it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Return, that can stay gone. Oppression, you know what? I would not mind Oppression.
That's the one that says you pay life points to stop your opponent from summoning?
Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's 800 life points that you pay if your opponent would special summon a monster to, I think it's negate the summon and destroy it. Let me double check there.
Yeah, I honestly, yeah. I'm not saying bring it back to 3.
Yep.
But if you got all floodgates at 1.
Yeah, either player can pay 800 life points to negate the special summon of a monster and or an effect that special summons a monster and destroy that card. I feel like that can come back. That
last one kind of hurts. Imagine paying 800 life points to get your opponent's OSS.
I mean, it's a thing. It's a
Imagine
thing.
paying 800 life points, negate your opponent's Promethean princess on field, and then the very same turn, pay 800 more life points and negate your opponent's Promethean princess in grave.
Hell yeah, I would do it.
I
I
mean,
said,
in this case, this would just encourage people to play more back row removal in the main.
yeah.
Like, you know.
So, I mean, I know you're listening, Konami. Just, just take that into consideration, huh?
Hey, I'm just saying it could. This isn't about what would happen. This is about what could happen, and I don't think it would require an immediate fix, type deal. It may. You never know. I mean, because people do like to,
Find ways to
abuse
break them.
cards. Yeah, exactly. But if you're limiting all these other floodgates, I mean, we got rivalry, TC Boo, fucking goes in match all at one, and then I'm a big believer in all of the pot cards and all of the floodgates should all be at one period. Like you shouldn't be playing multiple. I shouldn't. If I deal with one, the only thing I should have to deal with is a whole different floodgate, not the same fucking one. But that's just me. If it requires decks that if you're gonna play stun and play floodgates, you can't just cram all of them in, or you're not gonna see as many because they're all at one. And the ones you do cram in, you better be able to play under. And it's hard to play under all fucking 5, 6, 7, 8 floodgates that are available right now to certain stun decks. So
I would
I just think it makes
probably,
you have to make a choice.
if I ever like played like Bibbidi or something, and he flipped up like a TC Boo, a rivalry, a summon limit, and had like a Fossil on the field, I would just go and unalive myself right there. just gone.
Yeah, I don't think we need Bibbidi any stronger.
He found
Self-destruct button
the
is
last
a little too
stone.
degenerate just because it encourages tying for no reason. Trash dub shoe. I think this one before the ruling change lets you look at your opponent's hand. Afterwards, you can't. You just have to see if the card. They just have to honor sister in it. So I don't know about maybe because there's another stipulation for this too. There's a cost for this. I'm not remembering it. Maybe it's having cards in hand or like paying life points or something like that. But there is a cost to this.
Well, for Dust Shoot?
Yeah.
No, your opponent has to have at least 4 cards in their hand when you play it.
That's what it is.
And
So
then,
like, yeah, if you see it opening hand, yeah, okay. But
yeah,
mid game, that's trash.
but it has to pull a monster. Like you can't just pull like a random spell or trap or anything like that. It has to pull a monster.
True, and you aren't allowed to see the rest of the hand now, so it's not like you get the rest of the hand knowledge. So yeah, that's one of those cards where like they just better see it opening turn or like it's worthless. It's kind of like Shifter to me. If you
Oh, no,
don't see
no, you
Shifter
get to see their
opening,
hand.
it's trash mid. Oh, you?
Yeah, you look at their hand still, but you have to return a monster from whatever they have in their
Okay,
hand.
so maybe it's just hand knowledge at the very
Shuffle it.
least.
I mean,
One of them I
yeah.
know had a stipulation for it. So and then
I feel
ultimate
like that can come
offering is
back
great.
though.
Yeah, I agree. Trap Dust Shoe, I think could come back to 1. Test the waters out. If it's a thrust target, okay, but I'm fine with that. You know what
Well, I
I'm
was
saying?
thinking, like, granted, like you have to trigger a monster effect to be able to talent sit. Like, it's basically a talent at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, but your opponent has to have certain cards, a certain amount of cards,
At least
which
4,
isn't
but
going to
if
be
it's like
that.
opening,
Yeah,
then
but that's only happening turn 2.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I'm saying? Everyone shoots their hand out. You know what I'm saying? It's a crapshoot. And then ultimate offering, I think
That can stay gone. That's just as bad as
yeah,
full
that's a little
charge.
too degenerate. Just being able to summon whenever.
I don't need to see
Ah,
fucking gadgets in 2024, bro.
you don't want to see ultimate offering with fucking royal oppression? I think that's kind of cancerous. Chain ultimate offering, chain royal oppression.
Bro,
What?
bro, flu would be the highest representative. Right.
Let's all laugh at the duck.
Yo, for real.
And then the last ban card being Vanity's Emptiness.
Yeah, no, that could.
Oh yeah, leave it. I say leave it ban, but if we're gonna bring any of the floodgates back, I think this is the safest one to bring back, just because although it does have a very, very strong effect, it also has a self implosion. Yeah, exactly. So it's way easier to destroy this by just moving a card from the field to the graveyard, i.e., activating any card because it goes onto the field and then end resolution will go to the graveyard. So if you can just play a card, you're pretty much good. And once again, I'm a big advocate for maining the back row because you should be adjusted for all things in the game, not just what's fucking popular. But those are our takes on the banned cards that could possibly just come off the list altogether and do absolutely nothing. So, or at least close to nothing and not enough to merit another warning list. Let's just put it at that before I start hearing fucking slack from everyone. All right.
Yeah, you're still gonna.
I guess so. And then also on the docket today, as we move forward, we have word from Konami about this year's Megatins, and that's finally coming down to us. They finally dropped this announcement to us. Earlier on today, it reads as the following. Mirrored back to back, Yamayuki and Seto Kaiba stand like giants over the series of iconic monsters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series. While they're in the world's greatest duelists, Yugi and Kaiba have always been mirrors of each other. Yugi relying on the unity of his team and the power of friendship, while Kaiba taking pride in his own nearly unmatched skills. As always, each tin will contain 3 mega packs, each with multiple rarities guaranteed. This year's tins does away with some of the lower rarity slots to give everyone more of the higher rarity cards that people are looking for, including a quarter century secret rare pack in each of the 3 packs. Take pride in your pulls since we've united them together into higher rarities. This year's Best of Tin takes pulls together from popular sought-after cards from dozens of current booster sets, including Power of the Elements, Photon Hypernova, Cyberstorm Access, Duelist Nexus, Age of Overlord, Maze of Memories, Amazing Defenders, Wild Survivors, and more. Plus, brand new art versions of some of Dueling's most famous cards, from Red Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician Girl to Harpy's Feather Duster and even Raigeki. With 400 cards in the set, this tin doesn't just have something for everyone, it's got a whole lot of somethings. Meanwhile, the 50 quarter century secret rares in the set are a trip down memory lane, showcasing iconic monsters from the imaginary and imagery and decades of dueling. In addition to the 16 cards shown on the sides of the tin, with more of those being discussed later, there will be just too many famous ones to pass up. So we've added 34 more quarter century secret rares to the pool, and you'll get 3 in every tin. So it breaks down to the following for every tin, including 3 quarter century secret rares, 3 prismatic secret rares, which are traditional for the tins, 9 ultra rares, and then 24 commons. So it looks like they did away with the rares and the supers and crammed a couple more ultras in there. A lot more ultras, if I'm being honest. And you're now guaranteed a QCR in every single pack. So I think that's kind of cool. For them to have done that for us. And then the sets that they announced that they're dipping into, those are some big names. Like, this is going to be way better Megatin than it was last year. Last year's kind of flopped just because the list that they could reprint from was just so bare almost. It was like 1 or 2 cards, maybe 3 from each set that was even worth the reprint to begin with. So like, how could you make a Megatin with over 200 cards when all of your core and side sets had like flops in the majority of them? But what are your thoughts on the announcement that was bestowed upon us earlier today?
Yeah, for as far as the tins last year, you're not wrong. I mean, it was either pull Fenrir or bust. So
Yeah.
there's that. There wasn't like too many really like real chase cards. Like maybe like what Gorilla I think came secret as well. Like that
And
was like a
Rebellion, that was
hard
it.
to have, and yeah, the Bestial. So that was solid. But other than that, it's like if you didn't pull one of those, I don't want to say like you necessarily wasted your money, but you're not getting as much bang for your buck.
Yeah. And if you think about it, I don't mean to cut you off, but if you think about it, all that shit came out of one set. All that was from Darkwing Blast.
Yeah, so it kind of like, I don't want to like say like it dampers it, but it just kind of like makes you want to like just buy singles instead of wasting the money on tins. One thing, I mean, granted, like, I don't expect them to do that as far as like ratios, but like like with like the other like rarity collection, they had, so like you could have a possibility of pulling like 2 or 3 luxury rares. I thought it would have been, I mean, granted, like you're still getting 3 guaranteed quarter centuries in the 10. I felt like it would have been cool if you would have had a possibility to get more than 1 in a pack. I guess until we really know if like every card that comes out comes in quarter century, or if it's only going to be 50 dedicated cards as far as coming quarter century rare. Kind of got to wait and see if it's going to be worth the investment, if it's going to be worth picking up the tins, or if it's going to be worth just getting the singles that you want so you can complete your play sets of Solemn Judgment QCRs. I'm sure they're going to be coming out, or if I'm going to just get like a random Raigeki QCR and it's like, oh, I can add this with my secret ultra platinum gold rare common super every other rarity that I have of it. So
yeah, no, I agree. But and then some of these sets are just like that they announced for this year are just crazy. Like, I didn't think that they would, I mean, obviously we know that we're gonna get the Photon Hypernova because we didn't get that like last year. We know we're gonna get the Age of Overlord because it was the latter end of last year. But I didn't think that we were gonna get Maze of Memories in there. And I definitely didn't think that we were going to get Power of the Elements, the set that Konami is like trying to throw underneath the rug because they knew they fucked up. But like
Well,
these are like crazy sets.
Maze is the old set. Maze of Memories isn't the one with Bonfire and all that. Like they're
No,
not
no, no, no.
reprinting
Yeah,
it.
yeah. This is the
But
one with the Gate Guardian support. Like, yeah, this is like
yeah,
they had the talents in there. So if you think about all the cards that are in there, and especially some of the good, the better ones, like I mean, not say the great ones because obviously the archetypes are only so good on side stats, but
Mhm.
I think that that's a really cool one to be at least have higher rarity prints in, like because all those cards came in rares, so
and
or in ultras, but
yeah, and
now they
definitely
get their
something
little.
else. As far as the comparison too, because you were saying like the last year the tins had around like 200 cards. This
Yeah.
year, like you said, 400 cards. Like, what are they putting in these tins?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
It sounds like nothing but filler, you know?
well, I mean, most of it I was about to say are some cards too that they may be quote unquote filler, but they at least have some sort of value to it.
Hope,
I.e., some of these alternate arts, like that Red Eyes card was really cool, but it only came in the alternate art with the gold rare. So it was like if you like that art, you're only playing the gold rare. Now you get to play the artwork you like in a higher rarity, especially with that Dark Magician Girl. That one is kind of cool, the OCG version of it.
mm,
And I think that the alternate art for the Harpy's Feather Duster with the actual Harpy lady on it was kind
I
of
saw
cool.
it.
Like,
It looks
yeah,
nice.
that was kind of swag. I was with that, you know. And then the Raigeki having the cipher on it. Like, these cards may not be worth a lot, but they'll have value within themselves just because they are their own like one of one as far as like artwork. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd be
I think
cool with
that that'll
investing.
play a factor into it at the very least.
And I'm definitely expecting that they're going to have like solid reprints here as far as a bunch of recent archetypes. And one thing I was thinking about when I was kind of looking through the list of everything, I would be very happy if I got either a secret rare or a quarter century secret rare gigantic sprite. That
Yeah,
would
that'd be
make
lit.
that would make me a happy man. Let me get rid of
That'd
my
be lit. Yeah.
ultras. Give me a quarter century one of those motherfuckers. You know? I
I
would
mean,
be
even let's think about that. I want Pixies too. Pixies didn't get a high rarity print. Gamma Burst didn't get a high rarity print. You know what I'm saying? But like, and those are cards that you definitely have to see play with. You know, you may not
yep.
see it in every single deck, but they definitely do see play in and out
Mhm.
depending on the format.
Definitely. No, so I definitely want us at least maybe see some upgrades here for Sprite. And then I noticed that there's branded Despia, Kashtira, Manadium. I feel like, and I was saying this before we even started recording, I feel like they're gonna hold off on possibly reprinting the SP yet. I feel like maybe that'll be a set like towards closer to Christmas, if not maybe like next year. But I do think that they're gonna probably reprint the horror stuff and the wanted stuff with the
Yeah,
Snake Eye
no,
stuff.
yeah, no, I agree. Snake Eyes are definitely on the chopping block. Especially even with the ban list coming I wouldn't say neuter them, but to at least tap them on the wrist. I think that we're going to be in the Snake Eyes format for a while. They're just going to keep introducing cards. But even if we take a look at some of these sets, so we're actually going to start clicking on some of these sets and then going over some of the cards that we think will be included, some cards we think that might miss the reprint window, and then also cards that are good to grab or sell now before the reprint list is announced. Also, cards you might think that or might be good to grab or sell alongside these cards just to make sure. So we'll start off with Power of the Elements because it's one of the older ones that people are mostly unfamiliar with that's inside. Power of the Elements was back in 2022, and it gave us the archetypes of Sprite and Tier Elements. It also gave us the Goaty deck, which is the fish deck that some people are playing right now.
Shout
Which I
out to
think it might
Mer
be another reason that they might be including in the Tims because Goaty is seeing a lot of play. They just got support in, I think, the last set, if not the set beforehand. And I think that they're trying to make a comeback and bring some light to it. So we had not only those high tier archetypes, but we also had side cards and power staples such as Curry Carter, Divine Incarnate. We had Garura, the Wings of Resonant Life being introduced to us, Ultimate Slayer being introduced to us. It was insane, like the amount of cards that we had access to. So we're gonna go down and like look at these cards and like we'll have Brad. We'll probably go maybe 3 or 4 cards each that we think might be 100% in there or might miss completely, and then we'll go another couple cards of like I would hold on to this or I would sell this now.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as what I think will be in the 10, and again, I feel like it's going to be getting a couple of reprints because I can't remember exactly what set it was, but I know there was one that was coming out that was talking about having the like four of the planet cards in there coming in QCRs and all that.
Oh,
So I
that's
know
a
that.
rarity collection. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that is the rarity collection too?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Rarity
so
collection. All of the planets are
so
reprinted. Yeah.
yep, so I'm sure that's coming out. I still think Perlarino will also be in the tens. That way, it'll be a little more accessible for anyone that's playing Vanadium or still, coping with Tearlament or whatever they're doing. So
Yeah.
I think that will definitely be a reprint in the tens. Ultimate Slayer, I only think has like one or two. I think it has the an ulti print, doesn't it? Didn't it get the LT treatment?
Ultimate Slayer. I don't think. I think I got Starlight. I think.
Or was it the Starlight? Maybe that's what I
Yeah,
was
I think it's
thinking
a
of.
Starlight.
So yeah, so I think it's definitely going to be getting a reprint in there. What else do we have here? Honestly, like I don't see exactly why they would reprint the Goaty stuff, or like give it like too much support because it's already cheap as it is. Let's see, Garura, I can definitely see that getting another. Well, then again, well, it did come out in the tens last year, but who knows? Maybe it'll be one of the 50 quarter century rares just to kind of bling out your deck. So
That'd be
that
kind of
way,
cool.
when you
It
send
had
it with
the.
Maximus, you can draw a card in style. So you can do that. And that's about it as far as what I'm seeing here. That would be worth it, I should say, as far as the power of the elements.
I think when
Of
it
what
comes
would
to
be in the 10.
Konami, yeah, I think when it comes to Konami, you don't have to really think about what's worth it. You just have to think about what realistically is possible. I think it's possible Starter gets the reprint. I think it's possible even a Shuriken gets a reprint, even though it's only a $3 secret and it's not going to be doing too crazy much. I think that the Vernisylph cards will get reprinted in higher rarity because most of them only came in Ultra or Super in that set. And the Vernisylph cards are actually a strong archetype within themselves. They're just only applicable for Earth decks, which
Mhm.
is just sad because they don't have support right now. But I think Draco Utopian Aura, which is the counter trap that I liked, where you can banish the card if it was a monster on the field activating or whatever. I think that was kind of cool. The Goaty cards are definitely going to see some kind of love in one way, shape, or form. This is the set that donned us Mathmech Circular, which is now banned. So if it comes up on the list of being reprinted, it might come off the list for being banned. So I think that's a possibility as well.
Definitely some foreshadowing, maybe in the future. Because Konami loves to drop. I'm surprised that they actually didn't drop like more hints as far as what's possibly going to be included in the
Yeah,
10. Like I'm sure, obviously, it's still half a year away. Like we got plenty of time, and we're
yeah,
going to be getting more leaks as the time comes. But usually they'll like drop at least one or two bombshells of like a staple, like a good staple card that's going to be like reprinted and be like, make sure you pick your hand, get your hands on this. That was
yeah,
a popular
exactly.
card, so I'm surprised they didn't do that. But definitely some different options here.
Even Sprite Elf, like I would want them to do that, but once again, this is why I want them to fucking reprint shit the year of the tin that after they were released. Because if we got Sprite Elf Prismatic Secret Rare in the tin, afterwards, I would love that. Because like now, there's no chance it's gonna get reprinted because they're not gonna hint of ever bringing that shit back, and they don't
Yeah.
usually reprint cards that are gonna stay banned. So it's like, all right, awesome. Now I just got to stay with my one fucking Ultra Elf as the rest of the deck gets upgraded because of dumb shit because they wanted to wait 2 years to reprint this shit. And then you could take us into Photon if you want.
Photon. Yeah, we can look into Hypernova next and see what they got cooking over here. So let's see. So okay, so yep, this was some Despia support or Albaz, whatever you want to call it. We have some Gold Pride, also Cash Tira. Just like I mentioned before, as far as some staples, they got Thrust. I could definitely see Thrust getting a reprint. It just recently got the Ultra reprint in Maze. I feel like that can definitely be a solid staple card that they could use to kind of, I don't want to say upsell the tens, but kind of make it a little more
Yeah.
enticing. Especially if you can imagine a quarter century Thrust, I definitely would not complain with that. Um, like I mentioned prior, some of the Castira monsters, as far as like Fenrir and Unicorn, Ogre, because Ogre got a secret printing last year, I don't think they would have necessity of adding them to the tins, but I do think that they're going to add in things like Theosis, Ratesoth, possibly like a secret rare version of Rise Heart, the normal effect monster, not a Rise Heart. Because
Yeah.
I know sometimes people get those confused as far as Rise Heart and Rise Heart. But I can definitely see those
He
getting.
rises my heart. I'll tell you that.
I know you miss your Starlight. I know you just want to slap
It's
that
going up
puppy
though.
on the
Hey, it's going
field.
up. Speculation, nigga. That's all I
Yeah.
gotta say.
Yep, you never know. And like I said, and like same thing like as far as Colossus goes, like there's so many cards in the in the game that can just turn off like a floodgate effect, whether it be no searching or all cards get banished. Um, I mean, is it can it be difficult to play through if you don't draw ideal? Yeah, but you got to put in your big boy thinking cap, and you just got to figure out how to out that bastard. Usually, by the time they
Oh,
go to
yeah.
Ice Run on the field, you summon Sky Crisis and you laugh at your opponent, and they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, there are definitely more card in the game that can deal with it now. Not that there weren't enough to deal with it before, but it just made deck building a hassle. And I understand that that's like the real reason he was banned is because it made deck building unanimously create like have to alter on the off occasion that you might play against this deck. But when he was in the format, he was being played religiously. But I agree with that. Like he might not see it because he already has a Starlight, so there's no reason to kind of go back in there and give him another QCR Starlight. But shit, you never fucking know Konami. But cards like Gravekeeper's Inscription, I think is good. Sargus, I think it'll be another one that's a pretty good one, just because it helps that archetype out a little bit more. Trivi Karma, I fully expect to be in there. Made order outfitters, whatever that fucking card is, that's going to be in there for sure because it was a super, if I'm not mistaken, in its OG printing. So now just give it an ultra or even a secret. And I think people would like that. Jord, I think is going to be in there. It was a really nice card for the Plunder Patrol archetype, and I think that that's going to be one that might see its way through. I would definitely be moving your Rin Brooms and stuff like that. Anything that came for the Albaz portion that's low rarity, you're gonna want to move. Baldrake actually came out in this, so to see a quarter secret Baldrake or even a prismatic would be pretty cool.
Yeah, 'cause I
I
think
don't
it
think
only
there's
got
anything
what
else
an
I've been seeing
Ultra.
there.
I think it was the only printing that Baldrake got.
Yeah,
Besides
Ultra. It has an
Fire.
Ultra right now and a reprint in Battle's Legend or whatever it was, or one of those like maze side sets or whatever, and then it has a common original. Yeah, yeah. So there's
That'd
only
be nice
two.
to be a secret.
That would be a nice prismatic secret, I think, as well. Is there anything that you think you would probably move now to all the listeners out there that is like, hey, if you got these, you should probably move them now. Besides the planets, obviously, because of rarity collection.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, not even just the planets, but like even like your Theosises and whatnot, like any possible cash related stuff, because I feel like that's definitely gonna be in the 10, so you can probably at least get a few bucks if you have like a random playset of Theosis or again right south, because even though we already know that's getting printed in the collection set. Same thing with Cashew or Rise Heart. I know that they were recently like $15-$20. I think they've probably been dipping just a little bit because they've kind of faded out a little bit since the Fire King strategy. How I used to play the Fenrir to search the fire, so that way at least if you have like Arvada or something, you can stop a draw. So like ever since Snake Eye has become more prevalent, that's kind of faded out a little bit. So you can probably afford to get rid of things like that. Other than that, there's nothing really too crazy in the set cost wise besides like Starlights and the Thrust that you can really get any sort of benefit out of if you were to move them. Big
Maybe Big
Welcome.
Welcome. Big
Yeah,
Welcome is the only other one I was like, hey, you could probably let him go even if you play the deck and pick him up later.
I could see that coming out as a secret. And again, like, even
Yeah.
though they have the alti printing, at least you
QCR
can
for
probably
sure.
get a few bucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's got QCRs in its archetype already, so that's definitely one that's especially for $18. If you can get that shit off, that's a $45 play set. Get your money, boo boo. Get that shit real quick, and then you can go back to playing tier 2 decks afterwards. At least with $45 in your pocket. So that's
Exactly.
definitely one I agree with.
Yeah, so I can see that. Same thing like with some of the branded stuff. As far as like the Gringenial, I could see that getting like a secret rare reprint. So honestly, like any of like the higher rarity as far as like the ultra secrets, you can probably get rid of them, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be getting reprinted, so they'll be more accessible for anyone that kind of wants to play the deck that didn't get a chance to do it last year when it was at like full power. So
Full power, yeah. And then moving on, we also have on the chop Cyberstorm Access. So we have cards in here that came out. It introduced us to the Visas archetype extensions. So we have the fusions, or it's not the fusions, well, we do have the fusion Astral out, but we also have the Synchro Visa guy. I don't remember his fucking name. We also have cards. No. That was the Despia one. Lulu Lilith, or I think what it was. And then we have Bestial Then we have Bestial Dispatter for the Bestials as well. And then I know we had one of them. I know even Wakashi came out for the Super Heavy Samurai archetype. They got a bunch of support. Prime Heart, that's what the fuck it was. Prime Heart. So Visa's got Prime Heart. We had the archetypes support for Super Heavy Samurai in there. More Gold Pride. That's when I think they got Chariot, which is actually the one that they use. Quem was introduced to branded players. Chaos Angel came. Albion's introduced, so now they don't need Sanctifier. Or no, sorry. Albion is introduced now, Sanctifier Dragon, so that way they didn't need Expulsion when that got banned. This did the same exact thing with a little bit more like oomph to it. So this is another set where I think that is a couple chase cards, but most of the generic ones are all supers. So if they were being played, they're not expensive. I'm just looking through here right now, and I'm not seeing a single card that's going to like really be worth it, even if it were to catch a Prismatic or a QCR. Maybe Fusion Duplication. I think that's one that might get it per Lily, but that one had an OTS Ultimate, which is the Black Cat for Pearly players. Maybe Sleepy Memory. That could probably see QCR treatment, but I don't see very much other outside of that.
That'd be nice. I,
Besides
would,
any of
I,
the
would, I
archetypes
wouldn't mind.
listed.
I wouldn't mind any Pearly QC or anything. I know
Nah,
that they're
of course,
going to be
Mr.
getting
Purrfect doesn't want that.
exactly. I know that my friend is getting the QCR treatment, and I think it was Pretty Memory. I think was the other one. There was another one that was getting a QCR treatment as well, which I more than likely will end up getting whenever they drop because Pearly still has a close place to my heart, even though I'm a Snake Eye player currently. But I can definitely see possibly that. I definitely am sure that Dispatter will get a reprint. Looking at Chaos Angel, I don't think that will. I mean, I know it just got
They
an
might.
ulti.
They might get that Blackluster the BLS link treatment. Fucking
Give
throw it in
it,
6 different rarities.
give
Fuck
it
it.
the forbidden droplet treatment.
Yeah, dead ass. Just fucking
There's a
reprint
million
after
rarities
reprint
in a
after
year.
reprint. Y'all niggas gonna buy it, right? I mean, even cards like Time Tearing Morganite, I think might see something in there. Just because it is one of the better cards when it's like, but like that's speaking to how good this set is. Yeah, Gold Pride got Rollerballer, and that was like in the meta for like a little bit because Rollerballer going into that one fusion card, that shit was kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that fusion was kind of nutty. Just being able to like use your opponent's board as material. But I don't see any one of these being crazy. I mean, even if you look at Rollerballer right now, $2. Time Tearing Morganite as a super, $4. So it's like they're just gonna go down in core set if they get put into there. But I mean, I could see them doing it.
I need to
See
get
anything
me a
go against
playset of
them.
Time Tearing because I've never had a playset of that card yet. And I remember when that card first got announced, everyone was like, "Oh my god! Oh, it's gonna be so crazy! Oh, 2 normal summons! Oh, 2 draws! Like this and that!"
Yeah,
And like
right.
it just never saw play, unless
It's
like
just
you're
because the
playing
drawback
Stun
was
or,
just too much. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, kind of, sorta.
can't
But
play. You
still,
can't play cards in the hand, or can't activate monster effects in the hand. That's a lot.
yeah, no hand traps. Play no hand traps.
Yeah, no hand traps, no hand
No,
extenders, none of
no
that shit.
shifter for you.
So yeah, I'm not even seeing anything else that's in here that's like really worth noting. I mean,
Not
yeah,
really.
just move
The
that, move
Vanadium
your
stuff is
shit
probably
right
coming
there.
out. Astro Loud, I mean, I could see that getting like a Prismatic Secret or maybe QCR, just because it is kind of like a boss monster when it comes to Vanadium. It's still a 3,000 body that you just inherit. Now let me just banish 2 guys and bring them out. So like it's very consistent to get to. Um, I can definitely see maybe something like the hundred apples, the dragon guy. I can see him getting a nice little rarity upgrade. I remember when he first came out too, everyone was like, "Oh, gotta get them for was it Sprite?" They were trying to play it
Right.
in or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
And again, that lasted about a week, and, and then they just kind of like fell off the wave. But no, there's definitely possibilities. I mean, Visas already has like its Starlight printing. Um, I don't really see them like doing it. I don't know. It's got like so many printings now. It's got Super,
Yeah,
Ultra,
it does. But
Secret.
hey, Albaz did too. Now, Albaz not only had a secret in the core set, it got an ultra in the side set, it got an ultimate rare in a ultimate or OTS set, and then caught the rarity collection treatment and got every other fucking 7 more rarities on top of it. So shit, you
True
never know.
though.
This could be the tier. I guess
Yeah.
I would never put anything by. I know we had a couple bad sets last year. Not bad sets, but like a couple under, let's just say, lacking sets, underwhelming sets. Cyberstorm Access was one of them, and so was the next one we're about to talk about, Dueling Nexus. But we do start to turn up after that. So going into Duelist Nexus, we were introduced to the Chimera archetype. We also have support for the Infernoble archetype. They were seeing the Emperor Charles and then the Angelica, which is pretty cool for them. We also are seeing the Angelica's Ring, which is really awesome. We have the
Unchained. That's where
Unchained being
Yama
introduced. They're
came
getting
out.
support. It's like probably the fastest rogue to tier 1 deck run I've seen in like super long. We had generic cards like Crimson Dragon being introduced, which is now a staple in most other synchro decks. Cards like Evil Soul Lars for Dinos was really, really cool. We also had support for archetypes like Runic, getting their Slipnir, the Runic main, but allowing them to now blend with generators to create rank 9s and allowing that
Yeah.
package to give you a little bit more utility. I know, very, very disgusting. And we also had support to Dark World with them getting Dark Corridor, which was very, very anticipated. I thought that it would make them more meta relevant for longer. They did have their like little run for a little bit when they were hand loop and everything like that, but it just was such a strong format to be in anyway that I think that it was not going to go there well.
You
We
forgot
also
about
have,
the best archetype in the set too.
I was just about to say, we actually had our first introduction to the meta relevant archetype Snake Eyes, being the Sinful Spoil Subversion, being included in this set as well. We also had generic cards like Fusion Armament. I wouldn't want to say that the Nightmare Magician was super generic, but other archetypes can play that as well. We had the Tristina archetype being introduced to us as well, although it
That's
was
the
a
one I was
flop. It's
referencing. Tistina. I was
oh
like,
yeah,
that
yeah,
was the archetype right
Tristina.
there.
Yeah, but I mean, even like your Pearlies got their what is it? E
got
Pearly
my
Noir, the
got my
little Noir.
noir, my little
Yeah, and you
baby,
got
my little baby cat.
that trap card as well. So that was really cool. And like there's definitely a bunch of different things that came out in this, i.e. mainly being the dinosaur support, and then some of the cards for the Chimera archetype, which was really cool too. So I think that those will probably definitely see reprints in the Megatin, just because they were really cool. I think that it's just a good archetype all around. It may not be the best, but it's solid. Even something like Fusion Armament might even see one, even though it has a QCR. I think that that's still one of the staple cards in here. Revolution Synchron might see one. Slipnir, Sinful Spoil Subversion might see one. I think that would be a really cool QCR as well, because some people are playing it in the side. The Visa support's in there. I mean, Emperor Charles already has one as well, and so does I think Angelica. So like they already have that kind of treatment. But even Cosmic Quasar Dragon might be another one as well. Some of the
That
Unchained cards that haven't got one.
and that's what makes it tough though, because like the cards that are like decent already have that QCR printing because
Exactly.
Konami's has been doing the whole get it as an ultra, you can get it as a QCR as well. So I mean, like it won't surprise me if it got like a similar treatment because like same thing with like IP Masquerena, that was a Starlight and then it got a QCR.
Yeah.
So like, who's to say that they won't just print a secondary QCR version of one of these from Duelist Nexus because
Mm.
you're kind of limited on options of cards that have already received that treatment. And knowing Konami, it wouldn't really surprise me at all.
Yeah. I could also see cards like Emergency for Race, and then the Evosaur Laios, which is part of the Snake Eyes Evosaur list, getting QCR treatments in there, or even Prismatic Secrets. Like those are cards that come up and see some play on the field every once in a while. They get recycled a lot. But yeah, not very much going on there personally. So one of those sets where it was kind of under lacking. Any picks that you think that people would be wanting to move before we move on to the next set?
Again, like if and it's so hard to judge because like you don't know if they're going to give any of these cards a QCR treatment, but you figure like if you did have like a possible QCR of like a Lars laying around or Charles or Yama, I don't want to say do it because if you do and they don't reprint it, don't come at me.
I don't want that smoke, please.
These are opinions, not facts. But I mean, like, no, like again, like you really do never know with Konami. I mean, I do, especially considering this was the very first set that introduced illusion monsters and kind of seeing like what they were and everything. Like, it blows my mind that it didn't really have it's like, unless you pull a QCR, like it's not retaining value. So it definitely kind of, uh, kind of kills the set itself. But again, like anything that is already decently valued here is already coming out with a QCR. So I don't really want to say like unless you have a QCR that you have like a spare that you're willing to move, but I can't guarantee they're going to be reprinting them. I don't know. You can get rid of your alter guys QCR. Get your $15 for that. No one
Fair.
plays that card.
But then now we get to move on to the juicy sets. Now we're gonna move a little bit faster because I don't want this episode to drag too long for you guys. But we do have to discuss the Age of Overlord elephant in the room. I would say. So we have QCRs already of SP Little Knight, Typhon, the Black Witch, Wanted, Imseti. All these cards, for those who don't know, are all imports. We have the Snake Eyes archetype being imported. SP Little Knight came in. Typhon. The Imseti archetype is now imported as well. Boost to archetype like Labyrinth when they saw Ariana. And also the Fire deck saw the Infernal Flame Banshee I think was another really cool card. The full armored XYZ monsters are now released to us. Generic cards like Darkhold Dragon, and even not more archetype support like the Vanquished Soul and TG's got their own like little love in this. We
I
have
love that Rocket
car
Salamander.
yeah, Rocket Salamander is kind of cool. It's like probably one of the better ones for sure. Even side cards that have potential in the future, like Fire Recovery, which some people were saying was almost better than Silent Mining for Salad, that they would prefer to play that card instead, was introduced into this set. More Tristina support, obviously, Synchro support here and there. That new Nouvelle support came in there as well. And then we also got generic powerhouses like Ken and Jen, the level 3 monsters that allowed Makanko to actually take down a YCS, which was crazy the way it was being implicated for that format. And then more Tristina support as well. So this is, once again, one of those sets where it was just banger after banger after banger. All those archetypes are all really good. The support was pretty on point for what it needed to be for the cards that it needed to take the place of and do for. So this was another set where I don't think that there's a lot that can be missed here. Like they have to reprint almost everything in here.
The set was amazing, and again, like just like kind of like piggybacking off of what I just said for like Duelist Nexus, like if Konami is gonna keep on doing the whole every Ultra and Secret can be a QCR, like if they're gonna just do more QCRs of sets they already have QCRs of, I mean like yeah, they're gonna still hold value, but it's just gonna like just I mean for any sort of like collectors or anything, it's just gonna kill the market. I mean like because like I was thinking like as far as like moving cards, like get rid of your wanted stuff. Because, and like it's not even in fear of the ban list because it's gonna get reprinted and everything is just gonna lose value because when it comes down to the list, I don't see Konami hitting the wanted stuff. I see him hitting the Snake Eye stuff. To be completely honest, like I don't see them touching Bonfire at the current moment. I really don't feel like that's like a problem card. Um, like yeah, it searches a starter, but again, with so many people playing hand traps and stuff currently, it's not that bad. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think.
I agree, and I don't think that we have a certain idea or frame. I mean, of course, not every single card is going to be coming in every single rarity, like how the rarity collection did. That's why it's called the rarity collection. But and things will be chosen for certain things. Like I definitely think we could see a prismatic rare of the wanted. So when it comes closer to the Megatin's time, when people start selling their secret wanteds, I'm going to understand that. I could definitely see an ultra or a lower printing of SP Little Knight, which means the secrets will hopefully retain their value. Maybe not be the 120 that they are right now, but they'll be at least maybe like 70, $80. Even if we cut it down in half, I think that's a win. We'll have cards like Imseti, which are still floating around the fucking $55, $60 mark, which will be dropped down even if you get like an ultra of that. I think that'd be pretty cool just for some budget players to be able to play some rogue shit that's not even fucking really topping anything crazy. We now have access to these side cards. Typhon being a 34 fucking dollar card. When I remember I got my shit for $7 when
Yep.
it came out, is it kind of crazy? So even if that catching something like a prismatic secret or even another QCR, I think would be welcomed. Maybe not wanted. I would rather this maybe in a lower rarity to kind of preserve the value for Age of Overlord as time to come, as to be like a really cool set to open. But you know, Konami's liable to do whatever they want, so you never know.
Either way, it's bound to happen. Like it's like the same thing like when Pot of Prosperity first came out. That was like what, like $120 card. Lasted until it got reprinted about a year later. It's like it's going to happen. Like, and we're eventually going to get that SP Little Knight reprint. I hope it doesn't come out in the tins because no one else needs it. Like let me keep my let me keep my secret while I still
Yeah.
have it. But again, like there's so many. It's like, what are they gonna make that's a QCR from these most recent sets that's not already out there? That's
Already
like not
QCR, yeah.
that's not gonna kill the value in the market.
I
Like
want to believe that those will be the secrets, but shit, Konami might just double print those fucking QCRs, dog. You fucking never know. They are, who fucking knows?
Mhm.
I want to. My gut tells me that they're not, but my brain's telling me, fuck what your gut's saying.
It's like, what else are they gonna make? Like, I'm not like I know it says like as far as the 10 goes, like it's like taking a trip down memory lane, but it's like with 50 QCRs, there's a lot of slots available. It's like, okay, like if you were to do say like the new alternate art Harpy Feather Duster, like you have that, you can do a Regeki QCR if you really wanted to, and
Yeah.
then like maybe like I could see like them doing Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment, like maybe like the solemn packages as QCRs because they don't have any of like the QCR treatments. I can see that as well. Maybe even like anti spell, like that would be like a really cool QCR. I
Yeah,
definitely would not
that'd be
complain with
cool.
that. It has a collector rare printing, which is pretty, but QCRs are just like they're like it's basically a Starlight. You can't go wrong with having a Master Duo looking deck. You just can't go wrong. So
But I mean, that kind of closes it out as far as the core sets that we're going to be getting. Just to breeze over some of the side sets as we wrap up this segment, we do have side sets included being Maze of Memories, which brought us the Gate Guardian cards. We have the Wild Survivors, bringing us more Dino support, as well as introducing Vanquish Soul to us, and then obviously Maze of our Amazing Defenders, which gave us powerhouse archetypes like the Race
early.
archetype. Yeah, Pearly for Mr. Perfect over here, and the Macacos as well, which all have seen YCS wins. So like it was probably one of the most better underrated sets. But let's go over a couple of these real quick, and then just talk about what went through. We have made Wild Survivors right quick. We have with the Dino support and actually Dino upgrades to cards like Soul Eating or Omniraptor, Soul Eating Oviraptor, UCT, even what is
They'll
it,
probably
Amador and
reprint ground,
Argosaur. Yeah, Ground Zeno was introduced with the Zeno Metrionis or Meteoros, but whatever his name is, Meteoros, whatever the fuck his name was, I can't remember. We also had Vanquish Soul being introduced with Rock and Borger, Raisin, fucking Caesar, all the niggas mad love.
Hungry Burger
Snatch
though.
your nose, stake your nose. Hungry Burger, yes. Was also Nouvelles, I think is how it's pronounced if you say it in French. It's in the French archetype was down.
Oui, oui.
So this was another really cool one. We had generic cards like Enemy Controller, Erad, Allure of Darkness, Preparation of Rites, which is actually seeing play. Fossil Dig was in there, which is just support for all dinos. Uh, we even had cards like TC Boo in there, which caught the not only the rare for accessible version, but also QCRs or collector's rares as well as incantations for some of those ritual decks. So that was a really cool one. Any highlights that you wanted to talk about in that one?
I mean, as far as like the set itself, I remember when Nouvelles first came out, and I was like, "Yo, like let me cook, like let me
Literally,
play this deck."
legitimately. Give
And
me an
like,
apron.
and the funny thing is, like, I still really, really want to play this deck. I just like when it comes to like locals and everything, it's too competitive. So like, if you really want to play a fun deck like that, you're not gonna do good. But like that's still a deck I very much so want to play. And kind of throw. I want to on the field, like who hasn't
Yeah.
like when they first started playing the game as a kid, who hasn't had Hungry Burger and just slap that bastard on the field like without even knowing how to summon it
Big
properly?
facts.
Exactly. So, I mean, that would
It
be
was
really
just
cool.
hungry. Trying to
Yeah,
quench that
exactly.
appetite.
Yeah, just trying to put some toppings on. That's all. Just get them some condiments. But
Just
no,
starts putting it on a sandwich.
but I definitely do. I do want to play Nouvelles. I think that would be fun. I mean, like the Dino support is pretty cool. Vanquish Soul. I mean, I don't know if they're really going to be getting much support more as far as like the near future. But it is a cool set. Shout outs to Trent. I know he's one of our
Yeah.
was one of our resident Vanquish Soul players, but I'm sure where he's playing as locals now, he's still representing and doing well with the deck. So that's
Yeah,
still
he
a
He's still creating a menace down there in Rhode Island.
Yeah, so there we go. So
He's
yep. So
snatching their noses.
yeah. But out of everything though, I mean, I personally would be happy getting like secret rare Nubel stuff because I would absolutely try to pick that up, and it would probably be cheap too to play the deck, just so I can kind of learn it for fun. Like same thing like
Yeah.
how I did with Goblin Bikers, and I was playing that for fun. I would love to have a deck built for Nubel, maybe take it to locals and try to surprise some people with it. So especially because
Surprise everyone but Austin.
yeah, because like, I mean, it's the same. Like, you might see like one or two people at like a 20, 30 player locals, and none of them are going to know what the deck does. And if you really pilot and study and play the deck for a while, like they're not going to know choke points. They're not going to know anything like that. So they're going to get caught up by a hungry burger. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Christian has used that same tactic with Raid Raptor shit. He was on that Raid Raptor. No one knew what the fuck he was doing or what those cards did, and he was like 4-0.
Raid Raptors is pretty strong and that's because a lot of people don't know what a lot of the cards do. Like they have like so many crazy like secondary effects that no one really thinks about. I was playing Mitch yesterday at Vault, and our very first game, he had a Raiders Knight on the field with a monster attached, and I tried to imperm it, and he was like, "Nope, this guy that's attached to him, you can't target him with card effects." I was like, "Oh,
Yep.
traps?" He was like, "No, card effects." I was like, "What?"
Period.
And yeah, and I just proceeded to get shat on, and you know, it just happens. It just happens when you don't know what you're expecting, or like, you know, like, and again, like you're not gonna read every single effect of every single card because for the most part you kind of know what's, you know, what each card does, but like when you got those random cards that you just aren't familiar with, yeah, they'll catch you by surprise and people will sneak wins on you.
Yeah, 100%. So you definitely gotta make sure that you're up to date on what's going on. Speaking of what's going on, we have moving into Maze of Memories. We now have introduction to archetypes like the Gate Guardian being in there. We also have the Rika Glamour cards coming in there. So we have Rika reprints. We have the Solemn Judgment reprints. Introductions to the world cards like Duel Academy and whatever the other fucking, what is that on your market set, Duel. I think cool cards like Overlay Network was in this set. I think that's another really strong card that I would like to see a Prismatic Secret for. Obviously, all the Gate Guardians need QCRs, and I want every single fucking Gate Guardian fusion. You heard me. You heard me. Every single Gate Guardian fusion better come QC fucking R. Every single fucking one of them. I better have a whole fucking extra deck full of them bitches.
You'd be lucky if they come Ultra.
No, you know, they better, you know, Konami, don't you fucking let me down, nigga. Don't you ever fucking let me down. Your life as hard as you're gonna let me down right there. Ancient Fairy Dragon also came reprinted in here, which I thought was kind of cool because it just came off the list. We have reprints of Psy Beast, so I think that would be a pretty cool Prismatic Secret too, because Castier players were taking that for a little while until the cards that properly needed to be there came out. Overload Fusion, I think Cyber Dragon players would enjoy a QCR instead of the ulti that they have currently for that. That'd be kind of cool, a little shinier piece. And then a whole bunch of the Utopia cards kind of came out in here just to give them some more support as well.
I will say I would not mind seeing an XL Synchro, that dragon, the Synchro 8 that revives the 2 with the XL Synchro.
Oh yeah, XL Synchro Dragon. Yep.
I would
love
to see that as a QCR. That would be gorgeous. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. I think people would enjoy that. I think the Solemn Judgment being a QCR would be another card that they would enjoy as well.
Yep, I think they'll do like at least the Judgment, Strike, and possibly Warning. I feel like we might see 3 different Solemns that come in that set. That'll be QCR.
If they give us Gate Guardian QCR, like the actual hard brick, like the original OG Gate Guardian,
they will.
I'll literally kill myself.
They will. They will. They absolutely, because that's Konami. They'll give the really bad
literally
QCR.
Off myself, Konami. So let's not do that. And then the last but not least, before we close out tonight, we have Amazing Defenders that we have to dig into, and that was, as most people know, one of the most brilliant side sets that we got of the year. I think as far as power levels. Was slept on at first, but wound up creeping up to be contenders later on in the year. But we have introduction, as we said before, Rescue Ace. We have the Makankos as well as the Pearlies coming in there as well. And then a lot of good reprints to cards like Infernoble Knights were in there just because they kind of helped out the Makanko engine. Card Trooper were in there for the OG GOAT players who, you know, actually play that. 1-for-1 came Collector's Rare and Super, which was really cool because now it sees play in the Fire decks. A Sold, RIP, a real one got reprinted. Even cool cards like Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, which still generically, if you play equipped spells, I would always put this card into my deck because that shit is just too good. Ceravis got reprinted. Prius map was also reprinted as a rare for people if they wanted just access to the card as well. They didn't want to play for those secrets from that Battles of Legend. Gizmek Orochi was another cool one. Machine duplication for the 16th time for some reason was in there. Delicious Memory got a reprint in there just to make sure that people had it, even though it's only at one. You'll get your one copy right there.
Give me my
And even
super.
yeah, or well, yeah, it came in super, but just for people who just don't have that,
No,
they'll
like
at
no,
least
it
get
came it
access to the
came
one.
common rare, delicious.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
That's
did
just like
it?
yeah, it doesn't even have
And it got a
needs
super
it needs
upgrade,
it.
right?
Yeah, and it
Oh, okay,
yeah, and it
okay.
needs that upgrade. I want
I
my
thought it came
deck to be eating
super.
good. No, unfortunately.
I thought it already came that way. That's how much I know about the deck, you know. So, anything in here that you want to like really talk about? Because I think most of this shit's up in the block. Like, even if they put, because what's good about these side sets is most of these are either ultra super or rare. So like you can always have the wiggle room with the secrets, with the commons, you know, even the QCRs to kind of give these decks some shine and some love. So you can
I
kind of
would
go
be
any direction.
I would be happy seeing if they brought Pearly as QCR because again, that's my shit right there.
Mm.
It blows my mind, like just like how you're kind of mentioning, like the set was kind of slept on. Like when Rescue Ace first came out, that was probably like the cards where people saw it in the pack, they're like, oh. Like I don't
Yeah,
know, like
literally.
I didn't want this, and then go figure a few months down the line when it was broken, and it's like, oh my god, this deck is actually amazing when the wanted stuff first came out. Um, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing stuff like Turbulence or Pearly, especially because like they don't already have QCR printings because Konami didn't do like the rarity upgrade yet with Amazing Defenders. As far as every Ultra and Secret has a QCR printing as well. So I mean, any of those getting QCR would be really nice. I would like to see that. It burns me seeing the 1-for-1 going for as much as it is because I had a collector rare before that I got rid of. Unfortunately, I moved it for an Ulti Sprite Blue with Matt, and he's definitely plussing off of me right now. so
Yeah.
so shout out to you, Matt. You got that one for
Palantir
one.
knows when to snipe him.
Yo,
He's
for
like
real.
me. If he's interested in your cards, don't move it to him because there's a reason why we want him.
And I was like a year ago, but still, either way. But it's like things you can never prepare for. But no, I could totally see Turbulence or Pearly getting a QCR, maybe even a couple Mekanko cards. Just so that way, Christian or someone at locals possibly playing that rogue deck, they can have their nice little rarity upgrade as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I can see that. So these are just some of the things that you are more than likely to see coming up into 2024 Megatins, as we discussed. Obviously, there's an and more part with a contingency to put in different sets or different structure decks, even maybe some of the speed duel or those other side things that you usually be seeing in those things that will be included in here. And you never quite know what Konami they'll be doing, mad different things. So who fucking knows? But with that being said, guys, we're starting to run out of life points. I didn't mean for it to be a crazy long episode like this, but we did want to make sure we got the proper amount of content for you guys. Just to remind you guys about some of the sponsored content that you guys heard earlier, link tree down below. Click it, join all of our sites. Follow, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, whatever the shit you want to do. But stay notified because we're doing giveaways. Next giveaway is going to be when we hit 200 YouTube followers. We'll be making sure we get something away. That's nice. We've done a lot of boxes with our sponsors. We're going to try to see if we can do maybe some accessory package, maybe a little care package with a mat even. We've been winning a couple of those that we can give out. So we'll definitely be sure to take pool and make note of what you guys want. But be sure to also go down to their Discord, which is going to be in the description boxes of this video as well, or this audio recording if you're listening to it, to join Unplugged Gaming, our sponsor, and basically make sure that you're a part of all the TCG communities there. And if you stop in store, be sure to mention that the Semi Limited podcast sent you, and then I will take it over to Brad, who can take us away with his closeout.
I mean, yeah, if you haven't already heard, every single Saturday, right around 11 o'clock at night, when you're bored and got nothing else to do, you got to come check out your boy, Mr. Purrfect, over on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/semi_perfect_gaming. Usually, just like I said in the beginning of the podcast here, kind of just deck theorying, playing some different decks online. Might dip into a little bit of Master Duel. It's actually funny because I don't think it was last week, but the week before, I saw that the Snake Eyes had like all their stuff in Master Duel, so I basically decrafted like all of my ultras and secrets or supers so I could get Snake Eye stuff. So that was fun, and I kind of regret getting rid of like all my good stuff. But we played Snake Eyes for like an hour, and that was entertaining. So
No
that was good.
regrets.
Yeah, so I mean, but I'm always deck throwing, doing all things Yu-Gi-Oh. So if you got nothing going on and you want to talk Yu-Gi-Oh and be a nerd with me, then come hang out in the Twitch. And I'm always active with my community as far as everyone that chats along, anyone that ever has ideas for any sort of decks or what I should possibly consider playing. Those are definitely options that I consider as well. Talon, for example, he gave me some really good ideas when it came to Goblin Biker, but maybe we'll save that for another time.
Absolutely. Shout out to Talon. He'd be in the Discord popping in and out when we're playing Fortnite, or whether we're just crafting, we're playing EDO Pro grinding or stuff like that. So shout out to him. He'd be showing love, and I appreciate that. So with all that being said, guys, we are officially all out of life points. You heard Brad. Go check him every Saturday on his Twitch. Thank you so much for listening. I am Player X.
And it's your boy, Mr. Perfect.
And we are the Semi Limited Podcast. Thank you and good night.